why we say no situation is unique. Because if you look at even Tony's story here, or if you look at any client stories that I have, their problems is always started by what? Your internal issues, like you're playing victim.
Mm-hmm.
And worst of all, you didn't even know you're playing victim.
Right.
Issues like untethering or tetheredness. In this case, you were so tethered. Only thing you did was because you want to have, but you didn't do because you are. You didn't even know what the right processes are. Whenever your partner crumbles, you crumble. You are so tethered to circumstances, to your partner, to outcomes. You were not bulletproof, which is why you went into that fit of rage. You were robust at best. Like a lot of people think being bulletproof is like holding their shit in. You were trying to hold your shit in. Eventually, explosive fucking diarrhea.
Everywhere.
Right? So, and then you were hypothetic thinking, not antithetic thinking, right? You were jammed to one side in your identity, so you couldn't change your identity to fit to be an effective husband, father, whatever it is. So the usual suspects of the internal issues is the same. Doesn't matter how they manifest, doesn't matter what is happening in a relationship, it can always be rooted down to those things. You were struggling also because you lacked the frameworks, the way to guide conversations. You didn't know how to create safety, both psychological and emotional. No admiration, no alignment, no passion.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what we're saying is, it doesn't matter the uniqueness of your situation. The root problem is every infinite situations you think you're facing can be rooted down to, if you have created the 5 pillars, if you have made your internal shifts, you would not have struggled with whatever it is you're struggling. And if you are irreplaceable in your ability to create the 5 pillars and the internal shifts, you will no longer be in the problem you're in right now. The same way how all my clients, for example, their unique situation has the same root diagnosis. If you have the same root diagnosis, you have the same root treatment plan. And so whatever it is you're facing, you go through the same process, you will come out the other side fine, right?
Right.
That's why we say it's not unique. Because it's like so let's say you have this pill. And this pill can heal every single thing. No side effects. It can heal every single sicknesses in the world with no side effects. Would you then go to the doctor and go like, but doctor, my situation, don't you want to know what my situation is and how it's unique and different? It's like, dude, I don't need to know.
Yeah, right.
Just take it. Who cares? Just take it. Just go. Right? No, but I want to pay $400 for you to give me CT scans and stuff like that for you to for me to understand who I am. Like, what's happening here? Really? Just take the pill, bro. Go. Right? Which is why we say no situation is unique. So I hope people understand that now. And I want to talk about this victim mindset too with you a bit. I think what you're trying to say, Tony, is like almost like this, right? So I had a call with a prospect today because he was just being really difficult. And he was asking us, Jeff, why are you not allowing me in your program? And I said to him, like, let's do this, right? For the past 45 minutes, you've been just telling me about how you are struggling because your wife left. She got another apartment, and now you're financially strapped because you have to pay for her apartment and your apartment, right? And because of that, you cannot really take care of your kids properly. You cannot really feed them properly, so they're like hating you as well. Your kids are hating you as well, right? You have all these issues, right? You have all these issues that you're blaming, and you're saying like everything is happening to me. And I told him this. I told him, if my wife were to want to leave this house and get her own apartment, the last thing I would say in my mind is, what is wrong with her? The first thing I would ask is, how did I fail? in leading my relationship so that she did that now.
Mm.
Right. So
Like
his
what makes her
instinct,
want to move away from me,
yeah.
kind of deal.
So his instinct that she wants to move away, her fault. She's doing this to me. My instinct is no. What did I do instead?
Right.
How was I a failure in leader? If my employees were to make a mistake or to become complacent, to become like bad employees, the last thing I would think is, what's wrong with them? First thing I would think is, what's wrong with me, with the way I lead? Why are they not 100% with me in the company? Why are they behaving this way? Right? If later I have with my business, for example, right? If the bank were to take away my money because I owe the bank money, for example, and the last thing I would say is like, is the bank's fault? First thing I would say is like, how did I fail as a leader to lead the company? So one narrative is very much a failure narrative, a victim narrative. The other one is like a hero narrative. The other one is like, how is everybody else, the world, affecting me, screwing me over? And the other one's like, how did I fail as a person, as a leader of my own life, that I got in this situation in the first place, you know? And I think that was the major transition you made. In the beginning, you were looking at her behaviors and going like, it's you, it's you, it's you. I mean, tell me more about that.
Yeah, so like when she first left, all I wanted to do was like blame her. Again, like I was saying, like, how could you break up our family? Just like the blame game was a big thing for me. And then of course, with the victim mindset, you got everything involved as far as like, people getting your ears and like, you can do better. You can like screw her, you can do better.
Mm.
And in your head, you're like, yeah, you know what? You're right. I can do better. But, something it just didn't sit right with me, and like I would tell her, like, yeah, 10 years? You just gonna give up 10 years like that? And she would just whatever,
Yeah.
whatever,
And if I
whatever.
asked you at that point in time, I think, why? Because I asked the question in the survey,
Hmm.
what's stopping you from reconciling? Right. That
Hmm.
question for us tells a lot about where the person is at. If they answer the question by saying, oh, what's stopping me? My partner doesn't want to talk. My partner doesn't want to have a conversation. My partner doesn't want to trust my changes. That tells me you're still a victim mindset
Hmm.
because you're saying, like, what's preventing you from reconciling? It's her. She's the one who doesn't want to talk. She's the one who is like all stonewalling. I'm fine. Right.
Right.
But what we want to hear are the people who say, for example, no, it's because I failed as a leader. I pushed our relationship to the point that this is the case now. This is a reality now. That's someone taking fucking ownership, right?
Mhm.
But I want to double down on that point a bit later. I want to also talk about like, okay, so you were trying all those like ineffective stuff for 2 months. What eventually made you decide to join my program?
So towards the December, about 2 weeks before I joined your program, this is when I decided, all right, let me hop on YouTube, look up some stuff kind of deal, quick tactics kind of deal, what they call them. And you find all these programs and it's like, don't know, no contact. And you're like, for me, I'm looking through these videos and I'm like, I've been with this lady 10 years. I don't think no contact is a like even then for me, I was like, I don't think no contact is the best idea. Um, Maybe if I just met the girl, but I'm 10 years into, a family, 2 kids with her. I was like, there's no way I'm going to go with no contact with this lady. So, um, just stumbled. I stumbled across one of your videos, and it's a client and interview, and he's talking, And I'm like, this dude sounds just like me. Like everything that's happening to him, it sounds just like me. I was like, whatever. I was like, this can't be real. So I started going through like all the videos. Like in a matter of a week, I watched like all of them. And I was like, this is weird. I was like, that's kind of weird. I was like, these gotta be like paid actors or something like that. Everybody here's might have a little different story, but you know, their spouses are reacting the same way mine did. I was like, but you always think like no two people are the same. And then I was like, you know what? Let me look into it. Let me see what he's about. And
Mm.
so since you guys a message and I had the interview with Jason, and me and him were talking, and Jason's like one of the dudes whose video I watched. And me and him were talking. I'm like, dude, I was like, this is wild. I was like, this is kind of crazy to see like even him talking about his journey. And it's like he's
Yeah.
just yeah, like he's describing things that like in the beginning that I'm going through. And it's like I was like, I've never met this dude in my life. I was like, this can't be fake. Like for real. I was like, this cannot be fake. I was like, so I was like, all right, I'll do it. He's like, you sure you want to do this? Your questions. And I was like, yeah, I'm ready to do this.
Mm.
And
Kind of like zoom past you the program. Because like while you're kind of like running around in circles yourself, people are like, phew.
yeah, yeah,
And the thing I hear a lot too is people saying, yeah, there was this guy that signed up around the same time as me. And I saw that his life was like way beyond mine. And we joined at the same time. Uh, what was the community's contribution in helping you kind of make that wake up call eventually?
yeah. So like first and foremost, I love the community. The community is it's a great place to be. But yeah, like there were yeah, during that time, like I was trying to do the program. I wasn't dedicating every day. And it's like a couple days a week, one or two, three times a week that I would do the program, quote unquote do the program. And um like this week, the next week, I'm a new member. It's like, oh, new member.
Mm.
And then a couple weeks go by and you're like, whoa, they're getting this progress. I'm not even close to that. Progress, progress, progress. And then you feel like almost like a child. Like you feel like you got left behind, like the last pick and a pick me up game kind of deal. You're like,
Yeah, like you're the last to get picked in the dodgeball tournament. Like,
right, you're like, dang, I suck, huh? So it's like I'm a sandbag out here. So it's like, um, and then like, so that definitely happened, and I definitely saw a lot of people doing that, and it was like, all right. Then I went to like what we call the A players, and then on Facebook, you can look at everybody's previous posts, and you find these people who have not reached a goal, but became like reconciled with their partner, or in the process of it, just steady pushing forward. And you're like, for me, I'm like, let me look back at this story, let me look through these posts. I'll scroll all the way down to their first post, and they post something that's like, sounds like me. Like, and then you keep going through it, and it's like, these people are dealing like they're thinking the same way I'm thinking. Their partner's saying the same thing my partner's saying. And then you slowly start seeing them progress. And you're like this could be me. Like literally that's like, I can do this.
yeah.
Like, because in some of them it's like, you're worse than me, buddy. So it's like you had it worse than me, it seems like. But they pushed through it. And it's like there's no way like that I can't do it. There's not necessarily like, get back with my wife. But like when I finally committed to the program, I was just worried about like I want to be a better person regardless. That statement that Jason kept telling me like Doesn't matter who you put in here, it's going to be the same results. And that's what I think what pushes me, to do the work in the program because it's like I don't want anybody I interact with to, feel like how my wife felt towards me
Yeah.
in those situations. So it's like I knew that like once I've seen everybody else doing the work, it'll motivate you to really like get in there and do it too.
I think
And
there's a couple of things I want to remind people too, right? Because I think when you join the program, you guys don't see me as like a human being, right?
yeah.
But just understand, like I wasn't gifted or talented with this. Like it wasn't like I came out of my mother's womb and suddenly knew how to have relationships. In fact, the reason why I started this is because I didn't have that, right? So I started from zero. I started probably worse than you are,
Yeah.
and I did it, right? So obviously, the principles that I'm teaching you, I even teach you in this program how to learn, right? I teach you how to learn. I go that deep, and because I'm trying to show you like this is not a talent game. It's not a game of like whether you got it or you don't. This is an effort game. If you do this exactly as I say, you will get there. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Because I did it, I used it to do it, and I wasn't talented. And by definition, every single person who joins this program is not talented, which is why they're in the program in the first place. I am coaching the talent, the negative talent fuckers here. Like, sorry, right?
Toon Squad. Yeah.
Right. And so when you start to see like other people who were also didn't have talent, who also started off maybe in as bad or worse situations than you are in, and they raised higher, you realize like there's no reason why I can't do this. Of
Right.
course I can, right?
Yeah.
And that's the kind of like encouragement that's different from